Here he comes, young Nadal. In the words of Moya, he is the best 16-year-old he has ever seen. World number one, leading the way behind a man who very might well become the world number one day. Immense promise in this 17-year-old Spaniard, Rafael Nadal.
Born on June 3, 1986, in Manacor, a small town on the Spanish island of Mallorca, Rafael Nadal was introduced to tennis at the age of 3 by his uncle, Tony Nadal. Tony saw something unique in his young nephew's game, a fire, a natural instinct for competition that went beyond his age.
Mira, tenis empecé a jugar desde los 3 porque mi tío es entrenador. 10 años siendo alevín de primero, pues quedé campeón de España.
By the age of 12, Nadal was a force in the junior circuit, winning Spanish and European titles. Interestingly, he was also a promising soccer player, even facing a choice between the two sports at a young age. Many don't know that Nadal was almost on the path to becoming a professional soccer player.
Yo jugaba fútbol de más pequeño hasta los 12 años, pero 10 años siendo alevín de primero, pues quedé campeón de España y me fue yendo bien el tenis y decidí por el tenis.
But ultimately, he chose tennis, a decision that would forever alter the sport's landscape. After winning many international junior tournaments, Rafa kept training hard and was ready to turn pro at just 14 years old. While from the outside everything seemed to be going perfectly, Nadal was actually facing a huge problem behind the scenes. Even before he turned professional, his body seemed to betray him, forcing him to adapt and evolve his game constantly. In his teenage years, Nadal suffered from a condition in his left foot called Müller-Weiss syndrome, a rare and painful degenerative disease that doctors warned could end his career. Instead, Nadal chose to confront the challenge. He adapted his technique, modified his movements, and even adjusted his equipment, changing his insoles to alleviate pressure on his foot. Despite the pain and the adjustments, Nadal never let this struggle define him, but it certainly shaped the player he would become. In 2001, at the age of 14, Rafael Nadal began participating in the qualifying rounds of professional tournaments. While he managed to secure some victories, he did not qualify for the main draws of any of the 10 Spanish Futures tournaments he entered. Nadal officially made his professional debut in the main draw of a Futures tournament in Madrid on September 11, 2001. In that opening match, he faced Guillermo Platel-Vargas and, despite holding 13 match points, was unable to secure the victory. A week later, he received a wildcard entry into the main draw of the Challenger tournament in Seville, marking his first appearance at that level. There, he defeated Israel Matos Gil with a 6-4, 6-4 victory to claim his first professional win. This win earned him his first 5 ATP points and placed him at world number 1002 in the rankings. By the end of 2001, at just 15 years old, Nadal had climbed to world number 811. A couple of months later, in 2002, Rafael Nadal, now ranked number 762, received a wildcard entry into the ATP 250 event held on his home island of Mallorca. In this tournament, Nadal achieved a milestone by securing his first ATP match victory, defeating the world number 81 Ramon Delgado. This made him the 9th player in the Open era to win an ATP match before turning 16, and by now it was clear that Nadal had a serious chance of entering the top 100 in the future and becoming one of the best players in the world. Despite that, Nadal took a 2-month break from competition to focus on his school exams, which caused him to miss the Junior French Open that year. At Junior Wimbledon, he reached the semi-finals, and for the rest of 2002, he played 9 Futures tournaments, of which he won 6. He finished the year with a strong Futures record of 40-9, and was now ranked number 199 in the world. In early 2003, Nadal reached several Challenger finals and entered the top 150 after 19 Challenger wins. He qualified for the Monte Carlo Masters, where he beat reigning French Open champion Albert Costa for his first top 10 victory and broke into the top 100. Nadal reached his second Masters event at Hamburg, upsetting world number 4 Carlos Moya before losing in the 3rd round. he postponed his French Open debut due to an elbow injury but made a memorable Wimbledon debut, reaching the third round as the youngest man since Boris Becker in 1984. He was named ATP Newcomer of the Year and finished 2003 ranked world number 49.
No paráis, ¿eh? Con 16, 17 años estás cada semana en un país del mundo. Debes llevar un ritmo impresionante, ¿no?
Sí, bueno, la verdad es que este año principalmente ha sido cuando he empezado a viajar más y casi cada semana pues estoy de un lado a otro.
Tenis, 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 más tenis. Casi no hay tiempo para nada, ¿verdad?
Sí, bueno, también tengo tiempo de ir a Mallorca y pasármelo bien con los amigos también.
In 2004, Nadal started the year with a doubles title in Chennai and reached his first ATP singles final in Auckland. At the Miami Open, he defeated world number 1, Roger Federer, for the first time. However, a stress fracture in his left ankle during Estoril Open forced him to miss 3 months, which means he didn't play the French Open and Wimbledon that year. Nadal won his first ATP singles title at the Procom Open and had a strong doubles showing at the US Open, reaching the semi-finals. To finish the season, Nadal defeated world number 2, Andy Roddick, in the Davis Cup final, becoming the youngest player to win a singles match in a Davis Cup final for the winning team. Rafael Nadal's 2005 season was a turning point in his career as he firmly established himself as one of the sport's elite players. At just 18 years old, he won 11 ATP titles, including his first Grand Slam trophy at French Open. Nadal defeated a series of top players on his way to the trophy, becoming the first male player since Mats Wilander in 1982 to win Roland Garros on his debut. Nadal defeated Federer in the French Open semi-finals, being one of only 4 players to defeat him that year. Then he defeated Mariano Puerta in the final and secured his first Grand Slam. Just days after his stunning French Open victory, Rafael Nadal's 24-match winning streak came to an abrupt end on the unfamiliar grass courts of Halle, Germany, where he lost to world number 147 Alexander Wask. His struggles on grass continued at Wimbledon, where he exited in the second round against world number 69 Guy Miller. Nadal roared back with a dominant 16-match winning streak, capturing titles at the Swedish Open, Stuttgart and the Canada Masters. In Canada, he defeated the legendary Andre Agassi in the final, earning the first hard-court title of his career. This triumph propelled Nadal to world number 2 on July 25, 2005, a position he held for the next 3 years, firmly behind his emerging rival, Roger Federer. Rafael Nadal's 2006 and 2007 seasons were full of major achievements and memorable battles. In 2006, he missed the Australian Open due to a foot injury, but made a strong comeback by defeating Roger Federer in the Dubai Open final, snapping Federer's 56-match hard-court winning streak. Nadal dominated the clay court season, beating Federer in the finals of Monte Carlo and won the French Open for the second year in a row. During that year's French Open, Nadal played against Novak Djokovic for the first time, who would become one of Nadal's biggest rivals in a few years.
You know, because I think that I was, even though playing pretty well today, I was playing pretty well. I think I was in control because I think everything was depending on me. You know, how I was playing, result was like that.
Rafael, Djokovic told us he felt he had the match under control till his back problems. Do you agree with that?
¿Qué ha dicho? Oh, yes. I don't know. If he say that, it's okay.
Later that year, Rafa reached his first Wimbledon final and was the first Spanish man to do so since 1966, but lost to Federer. In 2007, Nadal continued his clay court dominance, winning Monte Carlo, Barcelona and Rome, extending his clay win streak to 81 matches, the longest ever in the Open era. How can you stop a man who has an 81 clay court win streak and won all the tournaments he played on clay that year, while also winning 2 out of 2 French Opens that he played? Well, Federer found a way to end that streak in the Hamburg final, but Nadal bounced back to claim his 3rd French Open title, again beating Federer in the final. He also won Indian Wells and played a unique Battle of Surfaces exhibition against Federer on a half-clay, half-grass court, winning the match. At Wimbledon, Nadal battled through 2 grueling 5-setters before losing another intense 5-set final to Federer. Nadal also won in Stuttgart and reached later stages of other tournaments but struggled with injuries, including at the US Open, where he lost in the 4th round.
It's not just one place. I have pain here in my famous ass.
Between 2008 and 2012, Nadal experienced one of the most successful and transformative phases of his career, establishing himself as one of the all-time greats. 2008 was the year Rafael Nadal truly ascended to greatness. He captured 2 Grand Slam titles, conquering the French Open without dropping a set, and then winning his first Wimbledon in an unforgettable final against Roger Federer. That match, played over nearly 5 hours and in fading light, is still hailed as the greatest in tennis history.
The match was fantastic. You were leading by 2 sets. When Federer drew level, did you think, oh my goodness, the champion's back in this? Were you worried?
Sure, I'm worried. No, I played against the best player of the world, and I have a relationship with him, and I know how good is he, how good is Roger, and how good can play Roger. So it's very difficult to have win Roger in every place, but he on grass in his house in Wimbledon is more difficult now. So I just try to be with positive attitude all the time, playing point by point and wait if I have my chance.
Nadal's triumphs didn't stop there. He secured Olympic gold in Beijing and became the world #1, dropping Federer to the 2nd place. 2009 started great for Rafa, with him winning the Australian Open, but then things took a different turn. Injuries struck hard, breaking his 31-match streak at the French Open, with him losing against Robin Soderling in the 4th round. This was one of the biggest upsets in tennis history and truly a shock to the tennis world. Robin Soderling ended up losing in the final against none other than Roger Federer. Despite these challenges, Rafa helped Spain claim another Davis Cup, demonstrating his resilience. 2010 was nothing short of historic. Nadal became the youngest player in the Open era to complete the career Grand Slam, adding the US Open to his collection after dominating at the French Open and Wimbledon. He achieved what few thought possible, winning Grand Slam titles on clay, grass and hard courts in the same season. With a record-breaking clay season and 7 total titles, he reclaimed his throne as world #1. In 2011, Nadal's rivalry with Novak Djokovic reached its peak. Though he secured his 6th French Open title and broke records on clay, Djokovic proved his class, defeating Nadal in 6 finals, including Wimbledon and the US Open. After dealing with injuries in 2009, Rafa now had an even bigger challenge to overcome, in the form of Novak Djokovic. Losing 6 finals in 1 year to the same player must have been very tough to overcome. But Rafa was ready to fight, and this was just the start of the legendary Nadal-Djokovic rivalry. 2012 was a year of extraordinary highs and heartbreaking lows. Nadal started the year by advancing to the Australian Open final, where he met none other than Novak Djokovic. That final against Djokovic is one of the most exhausting matches in tennis history, lasting nearly 6 hours. Nadal fought really hard, but ultimately lost in 5 sets. The physical and emotional low after this defeat was immense. After losing 6 finals to Novak in 2011, Rafa started the year by losing to Djokovic yet again in the Australian Open final. Nadal surely felt helpless, but that's probably what pushed him to train even harder and step up his game even more. On clay, Nadal was once again invincible, winning the Monte Carlo Masters for an unprecedented 8th straight time, dominating in Barcelona and Rome, and claiming his record-breaking 7th French Open title. Yet an early exit at Wimbledon and persistent knee injuries cut his season short, marking a rare moment of uncertainty in his career.